800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. 800-913-9739. That's 800-913-9739.
Live from San Francisco on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network, you are listening to Wrestling Observer Live.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Let's get it on.
It's Wrestling Observer Live, and it's Jim Valley, and I am live, and we're back, new and vicious, 7 days a week at 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. We're live Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific, and Saturdays, whether Brian mentions me or not. I think he mentioned me one time last week. Either way, we're still live at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, here on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network. The effing king of recovery is back because of the fans. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm wearing my brand new Jim Valley, showing you there, the brand new Jim Valley because of the fans t-shirt, which you can get at Pro Wrestling Tees. Looks pretty sharp, if I say so myself. An original design by Jeremy Tate, the guy you know as James Vanderbeek on Twitter, did the Because of the Fans design. And you could pick it up just $19.99, not $25 like all the other t-shirts, a steal at just $19.99. Just search Wrestling Observer at ProWrestlingTees.com. We're back. We're live. I love the show. I love you, but I hate days like today. There is so much wrestling content. Extreme Rules tonight, plus the season premiere of Smackdown last night, AEW Rampage, Battle of the Belts, Impact, GCW, New Japan on Monday. It's ridiculous, I tell you. Ridiculous. So much stuff. I don't have time to recap it all. Plus, there are things that I want to talk about. I just have a week, and I don't want to spend it recapping Ricochet and Solo Sikoa. Not that they're not talented. I just got things to do. We got to talk about the return of the Fiend, Andrade. What do you do with a guy like Andrade? We'll talk about that and more. It's Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear.
Are you 60 plus and love to travel? Introducing the Senior Travel Discount Network, brought to you by Low Cost Airlines. Call us anytime, day or night, and save up to 75% on your airline and hotel reservations. We can help you save a ton of money to fly almost anywhere. We have inside discounts on over 500 airlines and 500,000 hotels worldwide. And when you call and mention the discount code 60 plus, we'll give you an extra free night with your qualified air and hotel reservation. Now you can get the best prices on air and hotel reservations with your phone. We make it easy and fast for you to save money and book a trip. Remember, call the Senior Travel Discount Network. Mention the discount code 60 plus for your free hotel night with your qualified reservation. Call now.
800-493-6118. 800-493-6118. 800-493-6118. That's 800-493-6118. Airlines have just reduced their prices even more. Book 30 days in advance and save big.
Want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets? Then call the Low Cost Airlines Travel Hotline right now. For prices so low, we can't publish them anywhere. The only way to access our low rates and save up to 70% is to call. Save hundreds on your vacation tickets by calling right now. You can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531. Do you love driving, but you don't love your car payment? Open Road Lending can reduce your
Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
It's Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live, 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. Tweet me at Jim Valley. Hey, I want to thank Sam Adonis, who's just signed, I guess, with MLW in the United States. He's been just killing it in Mexico and around the world. Super nice guy. He was at Cauliflower Alley. I wasn't able to make it to Cauliflower Alley, but last year, my wife talked to Sam and talked about how she loves the little blue monkey. And look what Sam Adonis, you can see it here on YouTube, what Sam Adonis sent to my wife. But there he is, K Monito, in all of his glory. He's even got a little championship belt. So thank you, Sam Adonis, for sending us this. If you ever get a chance, I'll tell you what, as a wrestling fan, maybe the best shopping that there is as a wrestling fan is outside Arena Mexico. If you get the opportunity to go to Mexico City and go to Arena Mexico, go early, like at least an hour, at least, because they've got all of these pop-up tents outside the arena, and there's just tables and tables of merch, t-shirts, hats, mugs, figures, stuffed animals, tons of masks, figures from like $2 all the way up to really detailed, very expensive figures. Anything you could possibly want as a wrestling fan is there. From things that a little kid would want that are inexpensive for the family to something a collector would want that is more of an investment. Just an array of merchandise like you will not believe. It's so much fun. Shopping there is probably almost as much fun as going to the matches. Speaking of wrestling, Legado de Fantasma made their debut on Smackdown last night. And I think we'll come back to that in a minute. Also,
Brian and Cumberland's there.
Also on Smackdown, a vignette aired, reportedly singling the impending return of Sarah Logan to the company with the tagline, Valhalla awaits. And a video aired of the character dressed in fur, wearing a headdress, back to the camera, standing in front of the Viking Raiders shields. One male, one female, narrating the vignette. And again, Fightful is reporting that the video is to hide the return of Sarah Logan, who of course left and had a baby a few years ago. And I don't know if she's going to be new and vicious when she comes back. That is yet to be seen. Let's go to the phones. Ryan, what's going on?
I have a question about Bound for Glory. I don't know if you caught it, but I heard Bully Ray won the Call Your Shot gauntlet match and will be receiving a title shot in the near future. So my question is, do you think we'll have a bigger impact on their division? Bully Ray or Mickie James doing this retirement angle where she loses, she has to retire. So obviously she may win the title, and Bully Ray obviously may be winning the title too.
You know, Bully Ray has done some excellent work over his career. Thanks for the call, Ryan. I really appreciate it. Yeah, he did return last night at Bound for Glory. He eliminated Steve Macklin after the Bully Bomb for the win. He's an asset, of course, but I mean, it's always good to have returns, but he's been around a long time. Bully Ray is my age. So, you know, what new things are going to be pulled from Bully Ray's quiver, so to speak? What new aspects can be done with he and Josh Alexander? That's going to be the question. I think Mickie James and the potential to retiring is much more compelling. Mickie James, I think a lot of people love Mickie James, and I think people will be watching as it builds up steam, as there's more and more dragons for her to slay. In theory, as she retires and leaves in a blaze of glory. So I think Mickie James has more impact than that. A lot of changes happening in the world of wrestling. Also, LA Knight is officially back. He is no longer Max Dupree. Says his name is LA Knight, and he's going to take on Mansoor of the Maximum Male Models next week on Smackdown. So he's now going to be himself. We'll see what happens under the Triple H regime. A lot of people have high hopes for LA Knight. He's got a lot of confidence. He's got a lot of swagger. He's got the speaking ability. He's got the charisma. I think the question is the size. Does size matter? And historically, yes, size does matter in WWE. Will he get victories over larger opponents? What'll happen when he goes up against someone, let's say, could be a Sheamus, could be a Drew McIntyre? What happens to LA Knight when he comes up against those bigger opponents? We'll run down SmackDown, AEW, and Battle of the Belts. Last night on Rampage, Pac defeated Trent Beretta to retain the All-Atlantic Championship, the Battle of the Belts, I should say. Then Jade Cargill defeated Willow Nightingale to retain the TBS Championship. No surprise there. I will say this. I think Willow Nightingale has got something. I think she's really gotten better from her indie days. She's leaned up and gotten in a little bit better shape. But I like that she's got a different, relatable body type. She's so happy to be there. It's a genuine excitement. And I think that it's very contagious. I think she's very likable. I think that even though she lost to Jade Cargill this time, maybe there's something in the future. After the match, Vicky Guerrero came out, distracted Cargill, and Nyla Rose came from the crowd and stole the TBS Championship. And no surprise, FTR defeated the Gates of Agony. You know, I will say this. There's all these people who just sort of pop up on TV, and you're supposed to know who Prince Nana is. Yes, he's been on ROH TV for years, but not everybody watches ROH, and ROH really hasn't been a thing in a long time. And I think it's important to reintroduce these characters rather than just dropping them into things unannounced. On Rampage, AW champion Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta defeated Rush and Private Party. Tony Nese and Josh Woods defeated the Varsity Blondes. Tay Mello and Nana Jay defeated Madison Rain and Sky Blue. Death Triangle defeated Dark Order to retain the trios titles. So, Pac working double duty last night. As Ryan mentioned, on Bound for Glory, Bully Ray returned, won the Battle Royal. He gets to challenge Josh Alexander. And after Josh Alexander defeated Eddie Edwards in the main event, Honor No More beat down Alexander until Bully Ray came out. He teased joining his old Ring of Honor teammates before aligning with Alexander and ran everybody off. And then, of course, he goes face to face with Alexander and said he'll be his most legitimate title challenger yet. On the pre-show, another debut, the former Fandango, now known as Dirty Dango, made his debut. Matt Cardona returned. Taylor Wilde also returned, in addition to Rhino and Tommy Dreamer. And Frankie Kazarian is the Impact X Division champion, beating Mike Bailey in the opener. Hard to Kill comes Friday, January 13th in Atlanta. Coming up next, we'll get extreme, talk about the White Rabbit and the returns in wrestling. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear.
It's Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live, Sports Byline Broadcasting Network, 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. Well, Friday's White Rabbit clues on Smackdown point to today's Extreme Rules. Triple H opened up the show, welcoming everyone. During a segment, he had a QR code on the microphone flag that led viewers to a new video showing images of a cartoon pig with a voice repeating, "Let me in," which of course is Bray Wyatt's catchphrase, you remember. The video also flashed an image of Huskus the pig, from the Firefly Funhouse. Later on SmackDown, a vignette aired using 8-bit graphics, maybe 16-bit graphics, of the White Rabbit falling down a purple X, and the vignette aired with the date 10/8/22, as well as the phrase "feed your head" in multiple languages. The QR code featured the latitude and longitude coordinates that led to the Wells Fargo Center, which is the home to this year's Extreme Rules. Well, everyone is excited for the return of the White Rabbit, which is interesting considering people's feelings on the Fiend, and we'll get to that in just a few moments. But first, recapping SmackDown. The Brawling Brutes defeated Imperium in a good old, or that's going to be the preview, I'm sorry. I apologize. Extreme Rules today. This is the show. The Brawling Brutes versus Imperium in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. So even though Triple H is here and Vince McMahon is gone, we still have a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. I'm sure that'll be a very hard-hitting, very entertaining match. All four competitors are very good. Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match. I have a feeling that we're going to see like an Owen Hart thing from Survivor Series 94, where Dominic Mysterio begs his dad to throw in the towel for Edge, something like that. Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins in a fight pit match. Many people have speculated that Matt Riddle wins this match, setting up Seth Rollins winning the U.S. title going later on down the road. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a strap match. These strap matches, chain matches, all these matches always have virtually the same finish. Only a handful of times have they not had the same cheap finish. WWE Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair defends against Bayley in a ladder match. I like Bianca Belair. She's super bubbly. She's very entertaining. She's very athletic. But who is she? Who is Bianca Belair? What is Bianca Belair like? What does she stand for? Yes, she's the fast-est, the strong-est, all the ESTs. But they're all physical attributes. Who is she? She's been on TV now for years. I gotta be honest, I'm getting bored of the character. She's almost got the same problem as Superman. She's too strong, and where are her weaknesses? Where are her weaknesses to exploit? She's not like Luke Skywalker, who's too eager. He's got the eagerness of youth. No. Who is she? I'm just kind of like, she has no new facets to her character. I'd like to see something done with Bianca. Maybe Bayley can bring something out in Bianca so we know something about Bianca Belair. I know nothing about Bianca Belair. I like her. She's super athletic, but that's about it. Got a ponytail that she whips around. I get that part. But at the same time, she's got to give me something more than just whipping her hair around and being the EST. There's got to be something as far as the heart goes, or the spirit, or something. She needs an attribute. I don't know. That's just my feeling as far as that goes. Bayley, she's got all of her people damage control. One would think Bayley wins, and then Bianca chases Bayley to WrestleMania. We're in the heel season of wrestling to build heat for WrestleMania. If Bayley doesn't win now, then I guess she wins in Saudi Arabia, I would guess. But either way, Bianca probably needs to drop the title fairly soon for a WrestleMania chase, at least I would think. WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan defends against Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. And then Dave Meltzer reporting that the Usos in a tag match is also penciled in for Extreme Rules. You know, as I look at this show, I'm like, where's the main event? What's the main event? Is Liv Morgan and Ronda? Is that the main event? Is Bianca and Bayley? Edge and Finn Balor? What's the main event of this match? I mean, I know probably one of the world title matches is going to go on last, but it just feels like mid-card mania. It doesn't feel like any of these matches are main event matches to me. The main event is the return of the Fiend. And again, we'll get to that in just a second. But this card, Triple H was smart because this card needs the Fiend in the worst way possible. Jon Moxley has signed a 5-year contract extension with AEW, extending his contract through 2027. AEW announced Friday night that Moxley will work exclusively for AEW and its international partners, including New Japan, going forward. In addition to his wrestling duties, Moxley will be expanding his role in the company by mentoring and coaching talent. And I think that's a great idea. I've got all the respect in the world for Jon Moxley, all he's accomplished and all that he's done as far as this company, as far as his career, as far as reinventing himself, his intensity, his passion. I love it. And I've read all week on Twitter about how unhappy everyone is in AEW. Everybody in AEW wants to leave. It's absolutely a mess. Have you heard everything? Oh my gosh. You got people saying, oh, it's terrible. They never say how. They never say why. They just say, oh, it's terrible. It's interesting how they never give the reasons. I'm not saying the reasons don't exist. I'm just saying give them if they exist. Anyway, then there's this press release that Jon Moxley has signed for 5 years. 5 years is a long time. So Moxley must not want to leave and go back to WWE. So there's one person, and I'm not going to speak for anybody. I can't. I can only speak for myself, but wrestling is funny. As I'm speaking right now, we're all getting ready for the Extreme Rules Premium Live event. And as I mentioned, people are excited for the return of Bray Wyatt or the Fiend or whatever he's going to be. What terrible memories we have. Do you remember WrestleMania 37? You should. It was last year, 2021. The Fiend against Randy Orton. Don't you remember the giant music box? All the black goo on Alexa Bliss's forehead. Remember that? You hated it. Now suddenly, all is forgiven. And oh my God, I can't wait for the Fiend to come back. And maybe, under the guidance of Triple H and new creative, we won't see any giant music boxes or black goo dripping from foreheads. Or maybe we'll follow the same pattern of cringe during matches. Either way, the promise of a big surprise return has made wrestling fans' hearts grow fonder for the return of the character known as Bray Wyatt. Which brings us to Andrade. We'll talk about El Idolo coming up next. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear.
Are we back? All right then. It's Jim Valley. It's Wrestling Observer Live, and we're live at 1-800-878-PLAY. 1-800-878-7529. It's weird how all is forgiven with wrestling fans about The Fiend. You know, I tweeted out talking about the Fiend, and somebody wrote, none of his fans ever grow tired of his antics in the ring. You have to remember, everyone grew tired of Vince's antics and how he booked him. Vince didn't ever let Bray Wyatt tell the story that he wanted to tell. Hashtag never forget that. You know, this past week, Andrade El Idolo gave a shove or had some kind of physicality with Sammy Guevara after a little Twitter war, and I don't have to recap that. If you're listening to the show, you know. If you know, you know. You also know that Andrade was let go from WWE. He debuted in AW with Vicky Guerrero. Then he was with the Hardy Family Office. Then with Roosh. He's bounced around. Now, admittedly, his creative has been inconsistent. He's had some great matches, but no real great interviews or memorable segments. And I would argue that while he's very talented, and I want to make that clear, he's very talented, I think his presentation, quite frankly, it sucks. He comes out in a black mask and a pinstripe suit. Is he a gangster? Is he a mafia boss? To me, he looks like Black Mask from Batman. It's confusing. He wrestles in pinstriped pants. When he takes off his suit and he's just wrestling in the pants, he looks like a New York Yankee. Again, it sucks. Those pants don't work for him. On top of that, he's got a stocky build. And the cut of those pants on his body type make him look short. And honestly, they make him look kind of fat. And he's not fat. The guy's in shape. I want to make it clear. He's talented. He's in shape. The presentation that he's chosen is terrible. And let me just say, I was a big fan of La Sombra. La Sombra was great. And I would argue that La Sombra was more confident and a better wrestler than Andrade. He had flashes of brilliance as Andrade in WWE, but he was more consistently great as La Sombra. And I don't want to make it sound like I don't like the guy, because I do. I just think that Andrade's choices that he's made as far as the presentation of his character do him no favors. And understandably, because of his creative and his inability to connect in the ring and on TV with fans, he's going to be frustrated. That's understandable. And everybody knows, from fans to wrestlers to backstage personnels to the person selling popcorn, everybody knows in wrestling, making a big jump with a surprise can restart your career. Look at Cody or Claudio. So of course, Andrade is going to think that with Triple H in charge, with his wife in WWE, a jump is what he needs. So let's just say, I had somebody say, I can change jobs. Why can't Andrade change jobs? Well, let's just say, for the sake of argument, you let him jump. He makes a big splash on WWE TV. Then a month later, he's a mid-card guy feuding with, let's say, another talented guy, Ricochet, but clearly mid-card. Then what? Where does he go now? Does he shove someone backstage so he can go to New Japan? Does he shove someone in New Japan to go to CMLL? Where does it stop with this guy? Let me ask you this. You have a wrestling company. What's your guarantee that Andrade isn't going to pull the same crap in your company if he's unhappy? Can you trust him? If you hire him, how do you know you can trust him? In his tweets and his interviews, he's badmouthed AAA. And look, maybe AAA deserves it, maybe they don't. I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying he's badmouthed AAA. He's caused trouble on Twitter. He's caused problems in AEW. What's the guarantee that he's going to be happy in WWE? Where does it stop? Until he's Roman Reigns? Well, he's not going to be Roman Reigns. That's the thing. And here's the other thing. People say, well, I can change jobs. That's great. Television time has a value. Advertisers pay to be on television or to be on YouTube or to be on whatever platform, to be on this station that I'm on right now. It has a value. And he is getting TV commercials each time he's on TV for his brand, Andrade El Idolo. Now, he's talented. He has value. But if he's not on TV, who is he? You get on TV, you make a name for yourself. You can now do Comic-Cons. You could do a Conrad Thompson podcast. You could sell merchandise. You could do a Twitch channel. You have all of these options to generate revenue, all based on being on television, on AEW, on WWE, on Impact. I've got a friend, John Schuyler, who is an excellent wrestler. He's got a deal, or did, I don't know what his deal is now, but a year ago, he had a deal with Impact Wrestling. It's not he can make a living. He was probably shot, so I don't want to get into his business. But part of the appeal, being on Impact Television, is now, in theory, he can charge more for his indie dates. Same thing. Being on that platform has a value. And that's why you can't just jump from company to company to company, because they then have wasted their time on you. They could have given that commercial to another person, to Willow Nightingale, for example. She's very talented. She's got an appeal. She could be marketable. She's probably going to stick around. Maybe put Willow Nightingale in that spot. Give her that time instead of Andrade. So do you see what I mean? And look, I'm not, maybe AEW is a mess. Maybe Tony Khan is the worst person in the world. But regardless, there's a way to handle things. There's a way to do your business behind closed doors. You're unhappy, go talk to Tony Schiavone. Go talk to Christopher Daniels. Go talk to Tony Khan. Go talk to somebody behind the scenes. Go make a change in your presentation. Take off those awful pin-striped pants. You look like a baseball player. Are you Abe Knuckleball Schwartz? It looks ridiculous. You know, look, everyone's excited for The Fiend. And The Fiend is going to debut to much fanfare tonight. I imagine The Fiend is going to debut in his own segment. And there's going to be lightning, and there's going to be the buzzards, and there's going to be cell phones going off in the dark, and long music. And it's going to take a long, beautiful, orchestrated presentation as only WWE can do. And everyone's going to be excited. And then on Monday or on Friday, he's going to come back and there's going to be a hint of a feud. And eventually, in a few days, he's going to have a match at some point. And that's when the rubber hits the road. Will he maintain that momentum? Right now, people are talking about Sarah Logan coming back. And Sarah Logan, I liked her. I thought she had something with her howling and her little wolf gimmick, but she was literally at the bottom of the totem pole in WWE. She lost all of the time on opening matches off television. She was literally, like I said, the bottom of the bottom, which doesn't speak to her talent. It just speaks to where she was placed on the totem pole. But everyone's talking about, oh, she's coming back. She's coming back. Well, does she go back down to the bottom of the totem pole? Does she manage the Viking Raiders? What does she do? Everyone's excited about returns until you're slotted. And what happens when Andrade is slotted? And make no mistake, he will be slotted. Will he be above Drew McIntyre? Doubt. Will he be above Sheamus? Doubt. And right now, you've got a WWE product, basically, that came up from NXT. Legado de Fantasma. They're not, but essentially, they're a homegrown talent. I mean, they came from Mexico. They were already there. And I don't have to tell you, but my point is, you've got this product that WWE, these three guys, that WWE has already crafted and made in their image. Is WWE going to put Andrade on top of them in the pecking order? Is that a reward? Hey, you went to NXT after being stars in Mexico. Hey, you were there a long time, did everything we asked, and now you're on the main roster. Hey, we're going to put this guy in front of you. You don't mind, do you? I don't know. I think Andrade has played this whole thing terribly. I think he's talented, but I think he's overplayed his hand as far as his star power. What do you think? Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live.
You're clear.
Broadcasting Network.
It's Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live, Sports Byline. It is a hard knock life. You got to jump around to get over. And not everybody. Happy birthday today to The Miz. It's Mike Mizanen's birthday. You know, they've got a tweet out here from WWE. Two-time WWE champion, 8-time Intercontinental champion, 8-time tag team champion, 2-time Money in the Bank holder, and 2-time U.S. champion. You know, a lot of people bag on The Miz, and it's very easy to do. But there's a guy who figured out the WWE system. He's kind of a slight build. You know, he stays in shape, but he's still got a slight build. He hasn't been as injury prone as you might think, given his body type. He's never really injured anybody, given how many matches he's had and his level of experience. You know, he's always doing interviews for WWE. People still remember him from his reality TV days. I mean, what a success story. You think about a guy who has overcome basically the whole world hating him. For real. You know, kicked out of dressing rooms. Didn't understand wrestler dynamics and etiquette. And learned the hard way. And rather than quitting, he just came back again and again and again. He hasn't jumped to other companies. He hasn't tweeted the wrong things or gotten in personal scuffles that don't lead to money. Mike The Miz deserves a ton of credit. Seriously. Happy birthday to Miz. Enjoy Extreme Rules. We'll talk to you next time. I'll be back. Tweet me at Jim Valley. And we'll talk to you next time. As always, because of the fans.